What is something that everyone accepts as normal that scares you? That being in debt is normal. So many people just keep digging that hole with some amorphous thought that they will pay it all back eventually, even if they know deep down that it just won't happen. Major news outlets deliberately leaving out information, selecting out misleading headlines, or having strong political biases agendas. Edit. I'm seeing more and more replies using the "they are the bad ones" argument. No. Almost all news sites do this. Not just CNN. Not just Fox8. The fact that you feel that way means you're likely the very target audience these news agencies feed off of. You are very reason for my fare. Recognize this and maybe take all of your major feelings on a topic and just search for arguments for and against your stance from other sources. If you're listening to someone you 100% agree with, listen to someone you believe you wouldn't. It's fine if you laugh along, but if they present viable information for their arguments, follow it up. The idea that being broken down and embittered at the world is a natural and unavoidable part of growing up. It feels like these are not normal times, and it scares me what peak crazy might be. Ignoring the truth because it makes them uncomfortable. When all those kids in Pinocchio turned into donkeys. The rapid increase in mass surveillance combined with the gathering and use of biometric data. I'm not usually a doomsday conspiracy theorist, but sprinkle a little advanced AI on top of that and I'll go make myself a nice tinfoil hat. How acceptable it is for companies to screw people. Damn. I guess I hit a nerve. Having to work more than one job to survive. Edit. Thank you for the awards. First time that's ever happened. Maybe one day we can make a difference and everyone can live happier lives. Swimming in deep water, especially murky and clear. Duck that it, dude. Edit. So I have also just come across our thalassophobia thanks to you guys, and holy it. This is nightmare fuel. That you should have a career future planned out for yourself before you finish high school. Why do people do this? As if people don't change as they grow, and that your ambitions stay the same. You expect teens to decide what they're gonna do with their lives before they can even drive? Alexa. Edit. My sincerest apologies to all the human Alexas. : There are creatures in the ocean we haven't discovered yet, just chilling down there. Edit. Rip my inbox. Not caring about doing the right thing, or the well-being of other people. Saying no or telling someone I don't want to do something. Setting boundaries. Stuff like that is hard to do. I keep thinking of how I'm disappointing the person, hurting their feelings, or making them angry. The fact that most of the current generation of working people in this country won't be able to have their own homes. I know a couple that will finally have paid off their home after retirement. It's a real shame. And it's not in America either. This is a worldwide issue for some reason. Europeans and the Japanese have it just as bad. Working more of your life than you do actually living. Eater. First awards ever. Thank you so much, guys. The amount of plastic in everyone's homes in the form of temporary food packaging. It doesn't seem like much until you pay attention to it, and then think about how much of it you alone are guilty of discarding. This stuff is literally everywhere, even in the lowest parts of our oceans. Dying lingering. Painful deaths that last for weeks, months, or even years because we're afraid of death and anti-euthanasia. If other people want to die naturally, that's up to them and they've got every right to do so. But if I am one day facing a long, painful death, I want to be peacefully and painlessly killed via euthanasia. And I should have the right to do so without risking the doctor performing the procedure going to jail. To be clear, I do not want to die via euthanasia either. The ideal way of going would be peacefully in my sleep, or alternatively, some kind of instant death via explosion or whatever. I would prefer to die without artificial means to either end or prolong my life. But euthanasia should be available as an option, not a requirement, for those who want it and are facing terminal illness. Animal factory farms churning out antibiotic-resistant bacteria as a result of raising animals in deplorable conditions and close quarters while overusing antibiotics. It's absolutely terrifying, yet we as a population accept it. This will be a major health crisis in our lifetime and we'll all act so shocked when it comes. Edit. Long but fantastic article on the topic. Edit 2. Thanks for all the engagement. I know we all have ideas on how this could or should be addressed. 99% of US meat is factory farmed, and we make a choice every single time we go to the grocery or a restaurant to either denounce the practice or to continue to fund and support it. I highly encourage everyone to consider veganism. Learn more about factory farming. Earthlings, US. Dominion, AUS. Land of Hope and Glory, UK. Driving, it terrifies me that I'm supposed to just bleed for a week every month. For 30 odd years of my life. Who invented this abysmal system? Casual destruction of our environment. Being exploited at work. Working free overtime hours. Having short lunches. Not using their full PTO. We are humans. We are better than this. Edit. Do not tell me to get another job unless you are hiring me in Toronto. Do not say just don't being exploited. Exploitation is not the victim's fault. It's extreme manipulation where employers are granted more rights than employees. I can get fired and it'll be written off as something else because I'm disposable. There is a pandemic and we have opened because I am disposable. I easily see 300 different families a week. If I say they'll just get a better legal team and stifle my suit. Laws don't help unless we provide proper means of enforcing them. Having kids. The thought alone makes me stress out. Biking in traffic. Edit. I was thinking of bicycles but as others have pointed out it's dangerous for motorbikes too. I live in Nick and even cyclists in bike lanes get hit and killed regularly. Big nope from me. Teenagers having depression. So often, I see adolescents struggling with depression or other mental health concerns. Only for them to be brushed off as mood swings or teenage angst. Nobody wants to take action for those kids until it's too late. And I wish that would change. Child beauty pageants. I don't know if I would say that everyone accepts these as normal. But the fact that they are still around and still pretty popular is concerning. Death. I'm freaking terrified. Yeah, your body will literally stop existing one day. But that's perfectly normal. Also, it's literally the only thing on Earth that's 100% unavoidable. But that's totally fine. Like WTF. Getting in a cylinder made of sheet metal and insulation and sitting in it going 800 km per hour through the icy vacuum 30,000 feet above the Earth. Having the news on all day long. The fact that most people on this planet will have to work for at least 40-50 plus years of their entire lives. Edited to 50 plus years. Even more depressing. Posting pictures of your kids online. People love to say you are in control of your life, but when you are being bullied, people say just ignore it and it will go away. Now you are relying on the bullies to get bored with you, which may take years. Giving a scientist and a crank equal credibility in news debates, as if scientific consensus versus pseudoscience non-science is something to be debated. People denying or not believing in science, as though it's a set of ideologies you can choose to align with rather than simple observation of cause and effect. Not everyone, but definitely far too many people are okay with driving high. People I know do it daily. Many of those people believe it makes them a better driver, or they've done it for long enough that they're fine. Treating kids as inferior beings. I don't know how hitting a child solves anything. Not being able to speak about a different opinion than what is accepted by society as a whole without being shame-threatened. The amount of ducking littering that happens and how caring about the environment seems to be considered a liberal thing. It's sickening. That, and also just a general disregard for others. Not believing concrete facts. The fact that most men are made fun of and degraded for having feelings and emotions. All you're doing to them is making those men cold and hurt and angry. This is abuse. And, yes, it has very damaging and long-lasting psychological effects. You're not making them tough or manly. You're just teaching them that it's bad to be human. And that, in turn, teaches them to be cold and emotionless towards others. Sometimes also leading to violence towards spouses and children. Men are human, too. Treat them like it. The cost of education. Lying. I think it's the most terrifying thing. Healthcare being a privilege rather than a right in a first world country. Climate change being okay. It being okay for the leaders of our country to lie and focus on lining pockets rather than helping people. Racism, explicit or casual. The fact that working full-time at minimum wage doesn't provide enough for a person in this country to live alone and cover all bills needs basically anywhere. Anti-intellectualism. Politicization of a ducking pandemic. All of these are shockingly normalized for vast swaths of the US. And that's terrifying. Both in general concept and because of the future implications. I could go on, but I'm not in the mood to be livid tonight. Sitting on a cliff ledge, or in general sitting on the edge of something that is really high. Like, what do I do if you fall? I legit get anxious anytime I see someone do this. That Disney is making terrible live action movies of its better animations and people think they are good. Murdering billions of animals annually for food and thinking it's necessary or humane. Producing vast amounts of meat and then throwing most of it away. An animal died for that perfectly nutritious bit of meat you're throwing out. It died for nothing. At least eat it later. Or buy less of it next time. Posting every single life event or happening in your life on social media. People literally trying to do things so that they have something to post. And those weird people that ask you to post pics of them on your social media. Make sure you post that photo of us. That being a virgin at 18 plus is crazy looked down upon. Circumcision. Or at least infant circumcision. Apparently not their body nor their choice. Edit. Thanks for the upvote, guys. I'd love to have a discussion of why this is a thing, but apparently I'm too crazy for even our conspiracy. I was banned. Let me show you the real reason circumcision is a thing. Because there's an industry for it. Tell me that isn't some Elizabeth Bathory it. Tell me how this is good when they purely introduced it to Asian countries with the intention of sourcing a product and the only health they're considering is the witches rubbing it on their faces. Being alive. Seriously, why? Why are you all just walking around cool and chill that we exist? Did any of you ask for this? I sure didn't. Just why? Overall climate change and disasters. Images of plastic building up on eastern coasts. Oil tankers spilling over. Wildfires in California making the state look like a Blade Runner 2049 scene. Amazon still burning and being cut down as we speak. In the area I live in Germany. We have had really dry summers in the past years, which is not normal. It has always been a popular joke that it's always raining here. But now I can't even remember when was the last time it rained. All the dry weather has been a catalyst for bark beetles killing off our bark trees, which led to the government cutting any and all of those dead trees down. Now there are open gaps, spaces, or wounds, how I see them, in areas where trees should stand but don't. Icebergs melting at an alarming rate. Stronger and more powerful hurricanes. Death Valley hitting a record high temperature. Posting on social media. Terrified of feeling inadequate, which is why I just don't engage in it. Driving. You get so used to it and it becomes automatic, but your life can change in an instant. Using religion as justification for being an asshole. Basing your political ideology more on what you are against rather than what you are for. Going on a date. The fact I have to sit there for God knows how long with a complete stranger and forced to think of interesting conversation topics is absolutely terrifying. The horrible world we live in and the idea that there's nothing you can do to change it. Sharing personal information. We are slowly starting to adapt and normalize a global pandemic. That's pretty scary. Also, letting babies swim. Like, why would you let a baby swim? Even with the flotties they could drown. What is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. Greed and materialism. It genuinely disturbs me that most people treat life like it's a game and the only thing that matters to them is winning and getting ahead, even if it means letting people around them suffer. I feel most people lack empathy and are sociopaths, but people still lie to themselves believing they are good people. Over-sexualization of women. Honestly, intimacy. I'm 25 years old and the idea of anything past hugging a woman terrifies me now. I have the desire to do things that will make my hypothetical partner feel good. But when I play it out in my mind, even simple things like giving her a massage break me down, and I can feel myself wanting to retreat into a shell and let it echo inside that I'm not enough. Being in love. Goddamn terrifying. There are almost 10,000 active nuclear weapons currently. Any one of them going off could trigger a global thermonuclear war. We've only barely managed to avoid this happening on many occasions in the last 75 years. We seem to forget that a man-made apocalypse is potentially hours away, and only staved by the hands of a few flawed humans on any given day. Working in an office for the majority of your life. Human trafficking in the porn industry. Homogenization of thought. Because of social media, most of what you find being spread is instantly taken as truth. Having a 24/7 news cycle doesn't help either. It seems like people are losing critical thinking. Any difference in thought is seen as intolerance. I guess the presence of our unpopular opinion proves this. So many boomers say, well, everyone in government is corrupt. It won't change. Like, duck you. You made it that way with your cynicism and cowardice for not owning up to what is right. Sorry, I want a different world. The song Three Little Birds stresses me out. When does someone say don't worry about a thing? Every little thing is going to be alright. They say it when it is ducking awful. Lack of kindness and empathy for the general human populace. I don't mean corporations or the board of shadowy figures. I mean when you see another human and they need some sort of assistance, you do it. Being nice to people and being courteous has gone out of style. I realized with COVID this is not always possible though. Someone is struggling with their bags. Help them. The barista at the coffee shop messes up your order. Why is it necessary to get mad at that person and do a yell? Even behind closed doors. People are constantly so critical. This guy cut me off in traffic. What an arsehole. This bum asked me for money. Duck him, who gives a shit? How about we just treat everyone with the same care and understanding that we would when someone we love is having a bad day. It costs $0 to be kind to people. The world is already a pretty grim place. Don't make it unnecessarily more grim for others just because you sicken. Contact lenses. Shudder. Touching your eye squicks me out. Police being allowed to break into people's homes for growing a harmless plant. The fact that shootings happen outside commonly. That Biden is a legitimate candidate for the Democratic Party. I mean, they did have quite a few good choices to pick from and they went with the white dude who can't remember. Yeah, no, the thing. I feel like I'm watching an empire fall and we all know it, but if we say something we're being dramatic or something, when it is real out here, PPL really are not paying attention and being bombarded by every side. It's terrifying what PPL believe and what they are willing to risk over superficial differences. Straight up alcoholism being the normal in college. My ex literally couldn't function without a White Claw or a mimosa in the morning. When asked, she said, whoever calls me an alcoholic, I'm cutting out of my life. I know my limits. There's a reason she's an ex. This blatant disregard for facts over opinions I've been seeing as of late. It's horrifying to see how easily large portions of the population will willingly or unknowingly follow a set of beliefs or buy literal poison cleanses simply because a handful of rich people influencers condone it. It's just way too easy to spread lies on the internet, and it's worrying more people don't realize exactly how mortally dangerous it is. People think a person can't be happy if they are not in a relationship. Friendly misogyny like in The Big Bang Theory. Like if someone is portrayed as pathetic enough, their harmful actions are seen as harmless, normalizing misogynistic behavior for the sake of comedy. Religion. I've been to a few different churches when I was younger and honestly it felt like a cult. Services always creeped me out. Don't get me wrong, some churches have been amazingly good, supportive communities to others who don't violate their beliefs, but still, something about it all just creeped the hell out of me.